OpenAI, the minds behind ChatGPT, are potentially lining up a change that could transform the world as we know it. The change in question? Whether users should be allowed to create AI-generated pornography and other explicit content using its technology. Despite maintaining a strict ban on deepfakes for adult material, OpenAI's proposal has certainly sparked a lot of debate. Critics have unsurprisingly argued it could contradict the company's mission to promote safe and beneficial AI. The company, known for innovations like the DALL-E image generator, is considering a cautious approach to allowing developers and users to responsibly create NSFW content. This could encompass everything from erotica to extreme gore, although it excludes deepfakes, which remain prohibited. The document stated, "We're exploring whether we can responsibly provide the ability to generate NSFW content in age-appropriate contexts. We look forward to better understanding user and societal expectations of model behavior in this area." The discussion hinges on defining what constitutes pornography and where lines should be drawn. These are the exact conversations we want to have, an employee with know-how of the situation has added. It, of course, remains to be seen just what sort of impact a move like this would have on the pornography industry, because a lot of generative AI is already being used on sites like OnlyFans. Increasing access to the point where anybody can use it will most likely result in an influx of traffic to erotic sites, even with all the careful regulations OpenAI thinks it can do. Insider recently got the scoop from 8 OnlyFans models about their jaw-dropping yearly earnings. And let me tell you, the numbers are mind-blowing. These ladies were raking in anywhere from $143,000 to a staggering $5.3 million in just 1 year. Even on the lower end, they were still pulling in hundreds of thousands. Talk about hitting 6 figures. And you gotta hold onto your hat for this one. Karina Koff, a friend of YouTuber David Dahl, spilled the beans that she's making between $680,000 and $2.3 million every single month. Yes, you read that right. Per month. Can you imagine having that kind of cash flow? What would you do with $2.3 million in your bank account every 30 days? But it's not just about beauty and bearing it all online. Take Drea Di Matteo from The Sopranos fame, for example. When her house was on the line due to flooding and foreclosure, she turned to OnlyFans. In just 5 minutes, she secured her life savings, fixed up her house, and wiped out her debts. Now, if you're not in the business of sharing intimate content online, fear not, AI might have a solution for you too. OpenAI launched DALL-E in 2021, showcasing how you can generate images just by describing them. It's like magic. You dream it, AI creates it. No resources needed except your imagination and words. Sure, back then the images were in their early stages, like that famous one of Will Smith chowing down on spaghetti. Remember that? It was harmless fun, nothing to worry about. But fast forward to today, and AI has leaped forward. Now, not only can it churn out lifelike images, but it's also mastering lifelike videos too. Some savvy influencers are already tapping into this tech goldmine to cut costs and boost their income streams. Take YouTuber Kabir Khat, for instance. He's not just using AI to write scripts. He's creating AI versions of himself to star in his videos. Imagine that, your AI doppelganger becoming more popular than the real you. Could AI relationship drama be next? Honey, I'm taking your AI out tonight. It understands me better. Trust me, it's not as far-fetched as you think. It's happening right before our eyes. And it's not just OnlyFans. AI models are finding all sorts of ways to cash in, and the possibilities seem limitless. Take Alita, for example. Most of her earnings come from modeling gigs, believe it or not. She's the face of a sports supplement brand, and companies are actually paying for her AI model to represent them. And that's not all. She's also on Fansly, sharing AI-generated lingerie pics. It's wild to think about. On top of that, Alita has a solid 322,000 followers on Instagram, where she monetizes her presence too. So you've got this AI pulling in income from multiple angles. And Alita's not alone in this AI cash bonanza. There's even an AI modeling agency called The Realist, making a cool $15,000 a month from their AI-generated models. Yeah, you read that right. An AI modeling agency. It makes you wonder, what happens next? Could AI start creating its own AI and start earning even more? Are we looking at a future where AIs take over the workforce? Quite possibly. However, despite the wonders of automation and generative AI, it's not all looking good when you look at it from a social standpoint. And if you've been in the world of business, you'll know the social standpoint is often the most important yet overlooked aspect. That may be the case yet again with OpenAI. While generative AI has been praised for its ability to boost productivity by synthesizing and analyzing data, writing reports, and improving public-facing chatbots, its ability to create non-consensual synthetic images, videos, and even audio of a real person, known as deepfakes, reveals a darker side to the innovative technology. The explosion of pornographic deepfakes, for example, has ensnared countless victims, primarily women and young girls, whose bodies and likenesses have been used to create explicit content, often without their knowledge. In fact, over 100,000 deepfake videos were uploaded to websites designed to host such content in the first 9 months of 2023, compared to only 73,000 in 2022. However, deepfakes often spread without the use of public websites or social media platforms. Late last year, a New Jersey high school made headlines after some students created fake, explicit images of female classmates and distributed them to their peers. Teenage girls in a Seattle suburb were also victims of deepfakes after a male student allegedly took photos of his female classmates and used AI to create nude photos of them. Even celebrities, such as Taylor Swift, have faced image exploitation after an explicit post featuring the pop star went viral on X, formerly known as Twitter. It received over 45 million views before X officials removed it, citing their zero-tolerance policy toward non-consensual nudity. Instances like these have increased the pressure on legislators to address the largely unregulated landscape of generated artificial intelligence. Approximately a dozen states have introduced legislation on deepfakes, as advocates have urged policymakers to address the contentious use of generative AI. Policymakers are focusing more attention on AI exploitation because it affects people in schools, the workplace, and the government, making it a form of harassment and abuse. Deepfake images, whether intended or not, frequently shame or humiliate the victim, making it a public health problem. Those feelings have an impact on a person's well-being, especially when the manipulated image puts them at risk of being stalked or harassed by those who see it. Leaders are particularly concerned about deepfakes targeting children. In January, some states, including Arizona, Ohio, and South Dakota, introduced legislation to prohibit the creation and distribution of deepfakes featuring minors. Ohio's bill also prohibits the creation of erotic images of digitally created children and requires the use of a watermark on AI-powered products. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards signed legislation this summer criminalizing the creation and possession of deepfakes depicting minors in sexual scenarios. The law also makes it illegal to advertise, distribute, display, exchange, sell, or promote non-consensual deepfakes of children or adults. However, barriers remain for states seeking to enforce such laws. Policies governing the creation or distribution of explicit fake images would also have to comply with a slew of free speech laws. For example, Section 230 of the Federal Communications Decency Act shields online platforms from legal liability for user-generated content, posing a challenge for state policymakers seeking to regulate artificially generated explicit images. Furthermore, law enforcement officials find it difficult, if not impossible, to track down or identify the creators of this type of content due to its anonymous nature. Users can hide behind social media accounts using aliases to share explicit AI-generated or AI-enhanced images, making it impossible for law enforcement to take legal action if they cannot identify the creator. Even if someone is aware that deepfakes are being circulated, they have limited legal recourse. Victims cannot file a civil lawsuit against the perpetrator unless they can identify a person with a motive who you can point to and say, "This is the person who did this to me." States should continue to push for legislation to help victims of AI-generated deepfakes. But policies should also be updated to make it easier to identify and prosecute bad actors. Companies that provide generative AI resources should be required to include a tool or mechanism for identifying or labeling manufactured content, she stated. Otherwise, victims will have a difficult time proving that a photograph of themselves was manipulated. So, in short, OpenAI is considering allowing the generation of NSFW imagery, but has said that that does not include porn. What constitutes porn, of course, is not something they have clarified. Generative AI is already being used in the porn industry. So could OpenAI play a role in a revolution in that regard? Most certainly. That being said, it does not come without some crippling, debilitating damage to the fabric of society, as well as the general pitfalls. A lot could go wrong. So what do you think? Let us know in the comment section below.